Good evening. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton, Geoffrey, and Adam Ross here as we are every Tuesday. And we're going to chat some racing. Adam, how you doing, man?
That's the plan. That's the plan. I'm pretty good, Clinton. I mean, both you and I are a little bit somber. We saw each other at the visitation for Noel Teal tonight in Hagersville. Um, Again, a tragic loss, but you know what? It's so there's a big support system there for the Teal family. That was pretty evident just walking into that. What is it called?
Oh, no,
Springfield, Springfield
Springvale,
be
the
in
dwelling
Christ.
place.
Yes, church. So, um, yeah,
I've got it
since
right
they
here. I'll read it out. So if anybody still wants to be a part of this uh, visitation, the family is honoring her life right now, actually, for another hour at the dwelling place, Springvale be in Christ Church, Haldeman Road, Hagersville. Today from 5 to 9. And then tomorrow, a celebration of life will be from at 1 p.m. with interment at Greenwood Cemetery in Springvale. So I got there a little bit early, and it was pretty packed by the time I left there, Adam. So I'm sure they had a lot of support there tonight. Obviously, we want to send our support and condolences out to the Teal family. For those of you who maybe missed last week's show, Noel Teal was a racer at Osh Weekend and on the Action Sprinter. She raced crate sprints and micro sprints, also at Little Middleton Speedway. And she passed away on a motorcycle accident a week ago Sunday. So, it's tough for us. We watched this young, beautiful lady grow up. And, I seen Braden Cooley there, which is crazy to see. They met this summer and became boyfriend, girlfriend, and now he's dealing with this too, which is just crazy.
And Clint, can I use this as a bit of a segue?
Yeah.
As tragic as it is, I feel bad that I had to learn so much about Noel Teal from stories and picture books that were there at the visitation. So, if you're a racer and you're watching this, a ton of you are my friend on Facebook, have my Twitter, have myself. If there's things about you that we can talk about, please message us and let us know. Noel Teal lived a fascinating life. I mean, she was better traveled than you or I, Clint.
Yeah.
Spent a few months in Holland a few years ago, of course, out west going to school. But it reminded me that we don't know enough about the people who race with us. So by all means, if it's your son or your daughter or someone who races with us, let us know what they're about. Let us know. And a lot of that's on us, Clint. We need to dig in to get these stories. But with 120 racers at Ush Weekend on a Friday night, it's hard to know everything about everybody. But it really is. I found it fascinating to learn about Noel and how religion played into her life. And
I
how
was even
well
shocked to
traveled.
see her skydiving pictures. I'm like, wow, like the kid lived with full zest. And once again, let's run that memorial video one last time here. We kicked off the show and ended the show with that, and then we'll jump into Paul Cole on a bit more positive note. Paul has re-signed his deal to run Land of Legends Speedway, and for us old timers, that would be Canandaigua. So we're going to talk to Paul about that, how the live streaming's been going for them. They're the other one who jumped on the free stream platform, but let's remember Noel Teal one more time. Kicks me right in the feels every time, man. Condolences once again out to the Teal family. You can bet we'll be having some races in Noel's honor. Everybody's wondering what we're going to do. Adam, it's a little too early for that, but we'll honor her properly coming this summer. Let's jump into Paul Cole, our first guest of the night. Paul is promoter of Land of Legends Speedway, as we just mentioned, though, for some years, it would be. Are we still allowed to call it Canandaigua, Paul? The old timers, we're hard to give that up, you know?
Absolutely. Canandaigua Speedway is just fine. It's been known as Land of Legends for many, many years, despite the change in name. But we're looking forward to celebrating the 60th year of racing at the Canandaigua famed half mile this year.
Adam, I'm going to jump in here again because I just got to throw one out here. Paul, how about the season Matt Shepard has been having? I know you got to share him with the world now, but he kicked, the shoes off at your place, was there for a long time, big supporter. How proud are you guys of the season this guy's been having? I mean, we know he's been super Matt, but damn, what a year.
Well, it's one of the things that I've always said about Canandaigua. It's where legends are made. If you can win at Canandaigua, you can win anywhere. And coming into our track and being that successful has only elevated the bar that he's taken other places. He's had an outstanding season. One for the record books, obviously. I don't know if it's great for racing as a whole, but it's certainly great for Matt Shepard.
As Clint, I've got a scoop on a story. That's what I was looking down for. There's always been, Paul, big names that run at your racetrack, and I was excited this year. I don't often get a chance to come down there, but I was down there this spring to catch a show. The atmosphere at the racetrack, and I don't know how you create that or if you even had a part in it. I'm sure you did, but the energy there, the atmosphere there was really cool. What makes your racetrack different from other places?
Well, that's exactly what it is right now. The point is to make a show. You can race anywhere. You can race up and down the 401 in Canada every day of the week, but you can't do it safely, and you can't make any money doing that. So we're in the position of focusing on the show. The show is entertaining people for 4 to 5 hours on a Saturday night and making sure they leave with having a good time. The racers want to be there because they want to be in front of fans, and the fans want to be there because they're there in front of some of the best racing that goes on in the Northeast. We give them a variety of life. We get sprint cars, we've got street stocks and full fenders, and then we have the mods and sportsmen. And that gives them something to keep excited about the entire night. There's something for everybody, and when they leave, they feel fulfilled. And seldom do we have the modifieds run third, and then the people get up and walk out, which happens a lot of places doing it. When the headliner is over, everybody's leaving, but they stick around because we've had door-to-door racing in all the classes from the start to the finish. And seldom is our last feature have a poor crowd to watch.
Paul, I want to talk a bit about the business of the way you have to deal with things down there with the fair boards. Up here where most of our viewership is in Canada, Ontario, and down the States too, a lot of the tracks are privately owned. They don't have to basically deal with a fair board. Can you explain to us what that means? We have you on just to talk about you just re-signing your deal. So tell us a bit about the deal, but tell us about what it's like to work with a fair board, and can you really dig in if you don't know you're going to be there for the long haul because you have to keep reapplying, or however the business behind that works? I'm curious about that.
It's difficult. You're signing a lease. You're making an arranged marriage for a period of time that's supposed to be beneficial to both sides. Obviously, racing started there. It's actually been 70 years since it started, but 60 years of circle racing. And they use it as an important factor of supplying income to the fairgrounds, because the fair is only 1 week a year. In order to be a solvent and productive fairgrounds, it has to have events going on year round. They don't claim to be experts in racing, never have been, but they do obviously have a track and grandstands and bathrooms and concession stands, things that promoters need to have in order to operate. And it makes it easier. I mean, certainly I can 2 or 3 years or 5 years or however long you sign for, I can get up and walk away and know where we're at. Also, somebody can certainly come in and out muscle you or outbid you for the position. The goal, just like anything else, just like your customers, is to provide them the best product you can give them, and you'll keep doing business, whether it be with the fair board or with your fans. And in this case, the The fair is very happy with what we're doing. They like the fact that their grandstands are getting used and they're getting fuller. They like the fact that the racetracks, car count stays up, and that the community benefits from all the tax money that comes into the region.
How was attendance this year, Paul?
Our attendance was up about another 10 or 15% over last year. Obviously, 2 years ago when you couldn't have a soul in the grandstands, it was easy to increase attendance to 2021. But from 19 to 21, our attendance jumped almost 25%, and we jumped another almost 15% this year. And we had only one rain out, so that helped. And that certainly is an effort of hard work by our production team, by our management team, and of course the great racing that's been going on at the track as well.
But wait a minute now. Are you telling me you give your product away for free and your attendance is up?
Well, the interesting part about it is the big lie there is that I'm giving away for free. Yes, the fans aren't paying for it, but I'm selling their eyeballs. And by selling their eyeballs, I get the opportunity for monetizing those programs and providing a better product to everybody that's out there. That's how you create more fans. You have to create more fans. You have to give the product away a little bit. It's the Costco method of try it, sample it, and then we've had people week in and week out. A lot of my vendors that are there say they just say that people that come back to racing, people that were there the week before, people that say I've never knew this, how great this was, and they don't go home and watch it on TV the next week. They come back and watch it again and again and again.
Yep, and I kind of led you into that one, Paul, because that's what I wanted to get at. I'm thrilled to hear that your attendance is up. It supports the same mindset that we have up here, that you're creating an event. You're creating something that people want to come to, and more importantly, the key you just said, they want to come back to, because it's not rocket science to get people out to your grandstands one time. The hard part is making them want to come back the next time.
I think, Paul,
and that's really
the one thing that I want to add to that, because we were at a banquet for our live stream broadcast. Okay, so up here at G-Force TV, we're giving away, like you said, we're selling the eyeballs. Same thing with our great sponsors and marketing partners. We're covering the Asphalt Late Model Series and a bunch of sprint car stuff up here. Well, we had Andy Schmidt come up to us, Adam, right? Multi-time champion, old gem we never met, and said, I started watching it, and I come back now. You got me back into it every week. And it's like you said, Paul, a lot of the other tracks, have they been fishing around for your recipe, or are they still stuck with the pay-per-view? In fact, let me ask a better question. Why don't you go to pay-per-view? Why isn't pay-per-view the answer?
Because pay-per-view, we're all fishing in the same aquarium with the same 12 fish. There is no new fish in that aquarium. You put a line in there, and you might be able to catch all the fish that are there, but there's a limited amount of them, and you're not going to get any new ones. So that's real simple. You have to go to get new people involved in the sport. When you've got seven tracks racing on Saturday night, and they're all had pay-per-view, they're gonna get attendance by the people that want to see that particular track. But they're not watching racing. They're watching because their nephew, their grandson, their brother, their son are out racing their friend, and they just couldn't make it out. Or there's somebody that couldn't make it there for one night. But they're not coming to be new fans of racing. They're being fans of that particular driver.
Yeah, no, and that's well said, Paul. But congratulations on getting the deal to run the track some more, and we look forward to talking to you again and hearing that you're up another 10 to 15% next year. In fact, we look forward to hearing that you got to talk to the fair about building you more grandstands.
Well, so like 3 years ago, the state of New York was supposed to give them a grant to put the grandstands up. We keep saying they're supposed to be coming. It's coming. Hopefully, the governor has finally gotten things moving, because she's in a tough election right now. I'm told it's made some big progress in the last week or two. We're hoping to have some more announcements on that soon. Grandstands are important. We want to fill them up and make it a problem so that we fix them and get them bigger and fuller each week as well. We're looking forward to our 60th year of racing at Canandaigua. We got some big shows coming up. I have a lot of big announcements over the winter. Stay tuned, and I guarantee you'll see more free live streaming from the Land of Legends.
I got one more for you, Paul. I know we got DJ Christie on the line, but we still got a lot of time to fill here, so he's going to have to hang on a minute. Paul, what do you say, and the reason I'm asking Paul these questions, Adam, I would have the same answers as Paul would if I was on the other side of this, so I love we have somebody else to do the defensive mode that I would normally for the free stream and why it's so great.
He says it better than you, Clint.
He does. That's why I keep asking these questions because, Paul, I'm going to use all this when I go back to these track owners who are still trying to make sense of it. My question for you, Paul, is, as a promoter, the thing that I feel maybe hurts us the most is on a rainy or a shitty night when things aren't great, but the races still go off and people sat home to watch. How do you turn that into a positive in your mind?
Well, you're guaranteed attendance when people watch from home. It's the attendance is there. You're selling the eyeballs, so you have to factor an entire year in. It's not just one night. You're not going to kill it every night. You have to sell that for a season. And as soon as I've sold those eyeballs, as soon as that show goes off, I've got ammunition to go to my advertisers and say, look, this is how many people are watching. You don't care where they're watching from. You care that you're selling your product. And if I'm not selling your product, you probably shouldn't be advertising to begin with. And the only way to do that is to give them as many impressions as possible. And there's a lot of rural tracks that the same 600 people go to every week, and advertisers can't go back there because they're going to run out of money because they're not going to be able to sell to only 600 people. When we're averaging 8,000 to 10,000 people watching a show every week, and a lot of them fresh and from around the world or from around the East Coast or from Florida or North Carolina, Peter Britton's family watches from Australia every week. We have advertising muscle that allows us to survive those nights when it rains a little bit, because if you're raining that night a little bit, people still aren't coming. They're still not coming to the track. You can't count on them to say, well, they stayed home and watched it because it looked like the weather was tough. They probably weren't coming anyway. So if they stayed home and my attendance goes up online 25%, that's okay because now I've got more to sell.
And think of it this way, Clint. If the weather looks iffy and you didn't have a stream, pay-per-view or otherwise, people just stay home and you lose their attention. Part of the formula, part of the success comes from keeping that fan engaged from opening night until the end of the year. So to Paul's point, whether they're engaged at home or engaged at the racetrack, at least you're keeping their attention. And we've seen it. We've seen it, Paul.
And the one thing that a lot of people with streaming overlook, and a lot of these pay-per-views miss, is we have the ability to fill content with video. We have the ability to fill content with interviews. So when we get, whether it's an intermission or a rain delay or any number of things, we didn't lose our customers. If you take the time and you don't just turn the music on and walk away and leave the static shot of the victory lane, or pictures of the water trucks going around. Now we're out there interviewing drivers, which is good for them and good for their advertisers and good for their sponsors. We're out there talking to our sponsors so that they get more airtime. We're talking to our charities that we're raising money for 50-50 with. We're talking to our fans who now feel engaged that their friends at home watched them at the race. How many kids do you ever see they always want to jump them down and be on the Jumbotron at a ball game? That is part of the entertainment. It's not always the race. It's part of it, putting on a show from soup to nuts and to the end. And the one thing that we add that on top of it is we have an app, the Land of Legends app, and that just helps enhance both our video and our on track downtime. And for people that aren't there as well, they get their lineups from their haulers. They don't have to go to a pit one. And we talked about this earlier. I'll tell every promoter out there, you can bring me up. I'll go and stand for every promoter. I hope they copy us because it only helps racing. When there's more racing and there's more success in all these tracks, the whole sport will thrive, and I'll make more money doing that too.
One last question for you, Paul. Just a quick number. You get about 8,000 to 10,000 free views per week. We're about the same. Almost every one. If someone asks me, we're 9 to 10 everywhere we go. What was a pay-per-view buy number when you were getting it?
When we were doing pay-per-view, a good night might be I'm not going to count the COVID year because that's the only way we got any customers. But before that, a good night was 80 to 120 maybe. Yeah. Average in the 70 range. But a really big night might get 100, 120, 130. But that's, you're talking 130 times $20. And by the time you split it off, they take out the costs, it's all dead money.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah,
Love that
interesting.
you got it, Paul. Love that things are going good. We're big fans of the Ovens family and Steven and what's going on there with his dad and his brother, and glad he's carrying on there. And so glad to see it's working for you, man. It's great to see a promoter take it by the horns and push for the future.
It was great to see Adam down. We had a great visit with you this jumper. Bring Clint down next time, and by all means, I implore tracks to look at this model. They can't keep doing what they're doing and look in their grandsons every week and think that what they're doing is working. They have to try something new. They have to follow what being successful is. And I hope they look at what you're doing at this weekend, and they can certainly come do it with their Land of Legends. And I know Tim McCready tells me every week they watch it from their hauler when they're traveling around with the World of Outlaws, and they get a crowd there watching our show. So it's about the production just as much as it is the free stream.
Well,
Awesome.
and it helps that your production is excellent. Like, we take a lot of pride in the production we put out, but I know that your group there, Paul, at Land of Legends, does a pretty damn good job as well.
I've been blessed to have a great team, so that's the biggest part.
Thanks for your time, Paul. We'll be in touch. We're definitely following your story up here from the north. And for any of our friends who want to get down there, if you can't get down there, get immersed in their live stream, and it'll drag you down. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Keep pushing Matt Shepard there too. Thanks, guys.
Right on. Great to see someone who gets it, Adam. I can't say he drinks the Kool-Aid because he was pouring it out there. I was ready to take some of his. He had some great arguments and some great defenses.
He said it well. He did explain it well. And the nice thing is, Clint, it's not a story anymore. It's an example.
Everything
you're not,
that streams up here is booming. That's all we can keep saying, right? Okay,
yeah,
I got to ask you a question. So Spencer goes into panic halfway through the Paul interview. Says, wait a minute, DJ Christie's in the waiting room. We don't have him on the rundown. You're working on a scoop. What's brewing?
Is he here? Is he with us?
And you tried to rush
see a black.
Paul out. I'm like, no. I got way more to talk to this guy about.
No, I wasn't rushing him, but I thought if we were done, let me check my phone. I'm not going to. I don't need. Yeah, he's in a dark pickup truck, so I don't know where he's at. But Spencer,
Romantic.
if he's there, right. Although maybe that's just the lighting in Beachville.
I don't think he needs to call us by candlelight.
Right, DJ Christie, how you doing, man?
Oh, I don't think I could be much better. How about you guys?
We're good. Where can we ask where you're
at? Do you really want to know?
It's in a cave somewhere.
Yeah, I want to know.
The Grand View? Do you know the Grand View Variety in Ashwegan?
Oh, okay.
I'm parked underneath their one street light.
There you go. So why do we have you on the show, DJ? Tell us what's going on.
Well, I got some pretty exciting news to share with everyone earlier this week, and I just put a post out on Facebook, and my phone's going ballistic, to say the least. I got the opportunity to run for Glenn Stires and his team this weekend at Bridgeport Speedway, and it's an incredible opportunity for me, and I'm kind of in awe of the opportunity I've been given here. It's just such great equipment, and it's going to be such an experience for me and my dad and everyone.
So what's going on at Bridgeport? What series? What's up there?
So it's called Sprinttoberfest at Bridgeport this weekend. So there's 410s and there's the URC 360s, which I'll be running in, and there's some non-wing stuff too going on, and there should be over 120 sprint cars and a whole lot of racing.
2 questions for you, DJ. One, was Bridgeport an intentional choice because that place is bad fast and you're really good on a bad fast racetrack? 2, have you watched much racing from Bridgeport? Have you had a chance to do a lot of homework?
I've been the last 2 nights. That's all I've been doing with my downtime, just watching video. And no, the stars just kind of aligned with this weekend being open. And Glenn was good enough to give me the car, and Steve Moulton's coming with me. And that's a blessing in itself, because you guys obviously know how smart Steve is. He's a very knowledgeable guy, and showed his stuff with Dylan, and hopefully it can translate and I can learn a lot from him, and we'll have some pretty good success this weekend.
DJ, how does a deal like this come together? Does Glenn call you? Is this something you call and pitch to him? We seen you in the car at Humberstone. How does it all come together?
Well, we just did get talking, and the Humberstone was just kind of a fluke. We had some engine problems, and we were trying to stay in the points, and I called Glenn on Tuesday that week, and he called me back on Friday and said, "Whatever you need, come and get it." And that was a blessing itself. We finished top 10 in points there, and without him doing that, we wouldn't have. And the same deal. Kind of just got talking earlier this week, and he said, "Well, do you want to go run?" And I said, "Well, yeah, let's go." So now I just left the shop tonight. We got the seat bolted in. I actually have a seat sitting here right beside me too, but just as bolt holes didn't line up. But yeah, we're ready to go. Steve's got the car, and Steve and Lee and everyone at the GSR shop is ready to go. Terry Baker too, and I just don't know what to say. I'm just so thankful for everyone, and especially my dad too, for helping me get to where I am today. And yeah, everyone, even my sponsors that are on our car. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. So it's just a whole team effort.
Does your dad ever talk to you about the old days, DJing, and maybe even before he was in his prime? But the way things are around Oshwegan dirt racing right now is the way racing used to be, where there were team owners. There were people that would find a hired gun, put them in their car because they wanted to go somewhere and go racing. You don't see a ton of it these days, but you do in our neighborhood. Have you had those talks with your dad to talk about how it's kind of like a throwback to 1970s?
Honestly, not really. The most we've talked about is how quick everything seemed to happen. Well, about 6 years ago, he had said to me, "Well, do you want to sell the asphalt stuff and go sprint car race?" And when that happened, we would have never thought this is what would have came from that. And like I just keep saying, I'm in awe.
Well, DJ, do you think you would have moved up the asphalt ranks quicker or at the same pace? Or, you're basically at the top level of dirt now. Would you be at an APC car at this point in your asphalt career, do you think?
Well, to be honest, Clint, the asphalt stuff wasn't seeming to go very well for me. I wasn't getting the grasp on it. I don't know if that was just because I was 13 at the time and I was young. I'd love to go back and try to see what I can do now, but I don't think it would have happened this fast. Like, we probably would have eventually gotten there, but I don't know if we would have been competitive as fast as we've gotten here on the dirt. But I'm happy how things worked out, to say the least. We have a lot more fun here on the dirt, and it's just a great community we're surrounded by.
Are you going to be giving updates throughout the weekend, DJ? Where can we follow your progress?
I'll be posting updates on Facebook under DJ Christie and Christie Motorsports. I was even thinking about doing a vlog kind of thing, just to take us along for the trip, because it's not a short ride. 8 hours there and 8 hours home. It'll be a comical ride there and all the way back. I'm sure of. It'll just be a great trip, and I can't wait to get going.
I'll tell you this, if you just take your phone, even 30 seconds at a time, DJ, shoot it at yourself just like you are now, saying, "Hey, just about to leave Oshwegan." Do that 4 or 5 times through the weekend, and it would come together in a really cool diary of your. Am I wrong, Clint? Or is that something that would?
No, I was going to say the same thing. If you're young and you're interested and eager to do it, it's probably the best thing you can do is stay on that. I mean, I even remember Stuart Friesen took us for a shop view of his new truck shop once they got it. And I immediately sent him a text and I said, more of that. We need more of this, because we see the corporate stuff that comes out of the official announcements, but we want to see you being you. So I'm absolutely with you. If you're rolling into 5 a.m, kick on that camera for 5 minutes and do a Facebook Live. And I think you'll be shocked at the response you get. It's like I used to tell my brother Mike when we were doing his push to start, and when we were young and eager back then, whether they like you or hate you, they're still watching your every move, which is, like Paul says, you're still selling those sponsorship eyeballs, whether they're rooting for the 5 or hoping you put it in the wall. Either way, they're watching you. So I think it's an important part for up and coming racers, especially think of the tools you guys have now with Instagram and Facebook Live and all that stuff.
Yep.
We never had. We needed a Spencer 10 years ago to do anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just to look back on in 10 or 20 years, it'll be awesome to remember everything that happened, and just to be a great moment of history. It will be in 15 or 20 years even.
What are your goals?
You have to document even the bad. I mean, if it doesn't go your way, you gotta stick to it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. It'll be a little bit tougher, but I think it'll be worth it.
For sure. What have you got set out for yourself? Have you and Steve talked about goals as just getting in the show? I don't know what kind of cars they'll draw, or if you'll have to qualify in, or what will DJ Christie be happy with?
Honestly, I have nothing holding me back, so I don't see why we can't go to the top 5 or top 10. It's kind of a strange format. So Friday is practice, and then Saturday is right into time tot laps. So you kind of, well, for my sake, I want to go on the Friday just to get a few laps to start, because it'll be my first time seeing the place. And if we time in well, and you kind of like a night before the Nationals kind of deal, there'll be 3 qualifiers with 20 laps each. And then that kind of sets your lineup for Saturday. It's 40 laps, so you have a lot of time to think about the race, and it'll be the longest race I've ever been in. But we can do the top 10 or a top 5. If we did a top 10, I'll be happy, and if we did a top 5, I'll be ecstatic, to say the least.
Fran wants to know, are we going to see any neon Christie yellow on the new ride?
You might have to talk to the boss about that. I don't want to go putting the fluorescent yellow on his white and blue and orange car on him.
Fair enough.
That's a smart kid.
Mike Cura asked, DJ, what are your plans for 2023? Obviously still early, and we're still hungover from the season that just ended, like I like to joke, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow. I don't know what's in store for 2023 yet.
How old are you now these days, DJ?
I'm turned 20 this year in February, so still young, but I'm starting to get old here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You just said that out loud. You're a jerk, DJ Christie. No, but
I'm sorry.
Good luck. Good luck. Thank you for pulling over to the side of the road to do this for us. It's way better coming from you. Like we can make an announcement or read your Facebook announcement, but I like seeing the smile on your face, even in the dark.
Yeah, well, thank you. I got my one light here that I'm trying to use, and I got kicked out of one place, and now I'm here.
You know, you could have just stayed at the GSR shop because they have lightning fast internet, beautiful lighting. It would have been easy, but they probably even could have got you a desk.
Yeah, probably. I was on the road, though, so it is what it is, I guess. I'll
Right
take what
on,
I can get.
Safe travels, safe racing, and have an amazing time. Take a few selfies of you and your dad in those moments, too. You'll cherish them.
Yeah, I will, and thank you guys for having me on here. It's a good opportunity to be on here and give a little shout out to everyone. So I just want to say thanks to all my sponsors and one again. And I'll keep all you guys updated.
I promise to wear my GSR hoodie until you win. All right? Might be a little ripe.
All right.
But you got to pull it off this weekend, man.
I haven't stored one of them yet. So maybe after Sunday's feature, I might find one.
There you go.
Right on, man. Good luck, DJ. Thanks for calling.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye.
And all you racers out there, just like that, if you got a hot story and we are live, send us a message because we can facilitate, get you on if it's a good one and we need to hear it. So we appreciate DJ coming on board. And
there's a lesson to be learned there, too. DJ is as humble a young man, Clint, I would say. Very, very polite, but when he needed something, he wasn't shy to reach out and ask for help. And it's all about your tact and how you go about things, but never be shy to ask for something if you need it or if you want it. What's the worst someone can say is no.
You're not wrong. Let's get ready to jump into our next guest. We had some videos done at the APC banquet. Let's take a look at the one that featured his season.
Garrett Teamersma giving a little bumper loving to Lane Zardo.
I feel like I should have won, but shoulda, coulda, woulda.
That could have been the moment that ruined Garrett Teamersma's season.
Thought we could run a clean outside run, but I'm pretty sure all 3 cars tried to door slam me.
Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. How about it for Garrett Teamersma gets it done tonight.
The
Tonight went perfect. We made up a big chunk of points on the leaders, and you know what? We're not out of this.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Welcome, Garrett. How's it going, man? Thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Always happy to come on. It's especially on a Tuesday. I mean, we're not doing much, so it's nice to come on in the show and talk some racing.
Well, that's what we do, man. It sounds. Did we wake you up, or are you that relaxed?
I am exhausted. We had a long day today. I think I left the house. We left the house at 7, and I didn't get back till after 6. So it's been a long work day, but I'm back at it again tomorrow. I mean, Tuesday's my busy time.
Garrett, let's talk about the season that was. The Quick Superstock. First off, for our viewers, we've had you on before, but what a great series it's turned into with some great characters. You and Lane Zardo are talking about doing some more programming here on the show and hanging out to watch some races and analyze them, which is going to be a hoot. But, just the difference in, you got Vanderwist, the veteran who came back and ran well this year after some hard luck. You got you and Lane, who are two kind of really polarizing type features. You got like Trevor Culver out there. There's Chenoweth, the veteran. There's so many great stories inside that top 5 alone. Talk a bit about the series and, how it's grown over the years. And, it's only been 2 years now, but it seems like it's really blossoming.
The series, it's taken off more than I ever would have thought, sorry. When we first started this, like there was some rumors about a series happening in early 2020, because if you go back 4 or 5 years to 2018, there was a traveling series, joint series between Sauble Speedway and Sunset Speedway, the Great Lakes Series. And the goal of that was, I guess, to do 3 at Sauble, 3 at Sunset, and to come up with some sort of traveling type of series that felt like you were on a tour. And then, of course, that folded when Nick Getz kind of left Sunset and left and pulled his sponsorship money. And in 2020, United Racing Series kind of tried it out for 3 races, just threw on 3 Superstock specials. The COVID year, they were trying to get people out to the racetrack. You guys were doing Operation Green Flag. And then everybody loved it. I mean, everybody showed up. I think the average car count there that year was like 30 for the 3 events. And then that showed because 2021, sorry, for the opening event of the Quick Series, it was July 1st, the Canada Day weekend. I think we had 40 cars or 39 cars show up for the inaugural race. And this year, the lowest car count was 19. Our highest car count, I believe, was 24 at Delaware. So it was consistent, average it varied a little bit. But in terms of G-Force, I think that's what really got the huge attention of the series. I mean, as much as I put a ton of effort into the videos, and Lane and Ryan Dyson and Trevor Culver, everybody, even the guys running 9th and 10th, like those guys put in just as much effort as we do. And it's all because of the drivers that say that taking advantage of the G-Force platform to really boost the series. And that's why it probably feels bigger than it actually is. Us drivers like to pretend like we're all that, but it's really a testament to how committed all the drivers are in Superstock to entertaining fans, putting on a great race, as well as the competition within the division. Like everybody there wants to win. I mean, I got home today from work after my 10, 11-hour day, and I looked at my dad and I said, I got an idea for Springs for next week. Let's go testing next week because I want to go. I got an idea. We got to do it now. It's very competitive. I mean, just everything about it. Everybody's committed, and we all have a common goal in mind, which is the success of short track racing in Ontario.
Well, Garrett, I'll tell you, there is the difference between making it a big deal, thinking it's a big deal, and it seeming like a big deal is just everyone believing in it. I mean, look at an event, I'm going to go way off the wall, but look at the Chili Bowl in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
When they started that race in the 80s, I doubt they believed it would be the biggest dirt racing event in the world by the new millennium, right? So, because
Mhm.
what you guys have is something so dynamic. You've got the young guns, you've got the Sean Chanowitz and the Pete Vanderwists, the Jason Parkers, like people that'll keep you in check while you and Lane and Carson Nagy and Nick Ramsey climb the ladder and try to make names for yourselves. Or you couldn't do that if it wasn't for the veterans. And the veterans couldn't show that they're still relevant if it wasn't for you guys. So it's just that perfect storm. And as you say, it's really good racing. So it all comes together at the same time to form. I mean, thank goodness for the Superstock series, because there has been days when the Quick Wick race was the best race of the day. Not saying it's always the case, because there's been some really good APC late model races, but I'm saying you're in a division that doesn't even have to necessarily call itself a support class, because quite often you are the show.
Yeah, I agree. I've had a few people tell me that actually about stealing the show, and Alex Nagy, he likes to hype up his drivers in the drivers meeting when they all say they're important things, like don't run into each other, don't wreck each other on the first lap, all those fun things. Green means go, red means stop. But the other thing he says is, you super stock drivers are stealing the show right now, so keep doing what you're doing, because he wants us to be proud of what we're doing, and I think we all are. I know at least I am proud of what we've done over the last 2-3 years in the super stock division. There's a lot of negativity going around in racing right now, and it's justified to say that there's a reason to be negative right now in racing, because not everybody is pulling their weight. But the super stock class is not something that can be involved in that conversation. And at the banquet this weekend where I saw both of you, I think I ended up talking to 30 or 40 different drivers, or not 30, 40 different drivers, 30, 40 different team members, crew chiefs, spotters, drivers, all combined, who believe in the direction of the United Racing Series, super stocks as a whole, not just tours. They believe in the home track program as well, but we all just want the best for racing, period. And we just got to keep doing what we're doing, I guess.
I got a couple of hard questions, and I'm going to put Garrett on the spot here. So, just warning you. So maybe I might take a couple in a row if it's all right with you, Adam.
Do it.
All right,
First off, Garrett,
let's hear it.
I had an idea, and I want to know what your thoughts would be. So at the Delaware Fall Brawl, since that has been for the last 2 years the finale for all three, APC, Quick Superstocks, and the NASCAR Pinty Series, how would it be cool for you guys if the champion on the Friday gets an APC car to race on the Saturday? Like if there was there was a fully funded APC car there to run for you guys on the Saturday, the Fall Brawl weekend, would that be more incentive? And conversely,
Oh, totally.
for the
100%.
for the APC teams, for the APC champ, if we had a NASCAR Pinty Series car waiting to slap someone's name on it for Sunday as well, do you think that would up the ante in both those divisions? Because that's something that I really think we got to make happen.
I think that's the logical next step for that weekend. This is not the first time I've even thought about what you just suggested there. Naturally, it makes sense. Like right now, what I see is the Canadian version of NASCAR on a weekly basis. Of you have your Friday truck show, where you get the super stocks, the cars that don't handle well, but they put on a great race. There's the old veterans, and then there's the new young guys trying to make a name for themselves. They get the attention because of the other two series being there, but they're your Friday entertainment. And then naturally you get your Progressive Series to Saturday, your APC or your Xfinity Series, and we see every year drivers go from trucks to Xfinity to Cup. Why should it be any different up here? You asked me a hard question, Clinton. I'm going to come back at you with a hard response here, and it kind of relates to one of your topics, Sunset Modifieds. I think it's time for racing in Ontario or racing in Canada to get to have a sanctioning body that regulates classes, something similar to what Joe Lawrence said, or sorry, not Joe Lawrence, Joe Chisholm on Facebook one day. And whether that be a federation like the FIA for all the European racing or NASCAR in North America, I think it's time for that to happen. So that way we have a true racing program in Canada that feeds drivers to higher classes. And I think more structure is what's needed to bring in more sponsors like Dave Lloyd from Quick and Luke Ramsey from APC. I mean, the list has gone on and on since we've started this in the last 2 years.
I think, Garrett, you're going to see the sport is in the process of cleaning itself out. Whether you notice or not, there are divisions that are just bleeding cars, losing cars. The cream rises to the top. It's going to keep going like that. People are going to get tired of racing against 6 or 7 others. They're going to try to find themselves a super stock. There's divisions that are going to fall by the wayside, and I think that's ongoing. I read Joe Chisholm's post. It was very well thought out. I think the trouble is there's either going to be a lawyer or someone who represents insurance who brings in so many rules that are unnecessary. But I get the idea. It doesn't even need to be sanctioned. There just needs to be a common sense progression of where everybody should want to go. And I'll tell you, the perfect example in my mind is the NASCAR Pinty Series and Andrew Ranger. It wasn't until Andrew Ranger started racing CASCAR, the last year of CASCAR, and then it became NASCAR, that all these other Quebec racers saw it as a viable option. So he brought legitimacy to this series as a goal for people to say, hey, I can attain that, and I can be at the pinnacle. You go to Quebec, it is a huge deal. It's on their sports shows. They talk about the NASCAR Pinty Series and Ranger, Tagliani, the Dumoulins. We need to create that in English-speaking Canada, where even though it's not, nobody intentionally built it, it was just a natural progression that led to it, and it works really well.
I'll tell you my response to that, Garrett, quickly. Why I don't think it would work is because you're going to have, I could name, but I won't right now, probably 7 or 8 promoters that we all deal with who'd be all on board, would toe the line, stick with the rules we all agree on. And I tell you 3 other scoundrels that I guarantee you will be on the outside trying to pick away and steal what's left and screw it all up. Because, the same asshole's been in this mix way too long in some cases. So it sounds great. I think the best thing we can hope for there is keep pulling like we've done on the dirt, where we've got the mini stocks, street stocks, now crates and 360s, basically all in the same rules. There's 360 still the divide between the SOS tire and the rest of the world, but that's something that, has been talked about for years to work on. But, you have 4 tracks who bought in, and those tracks are doing well because of it. And I think on the asphalt side, you're going to see guys who are, and the track owners that have bought, and it may even be the ones that we have in the APC series right now. Those 5 tracks seem to be pulling good together. They agree. We all kind of believe in Alex and Luke and what they're trying to build. And even from the G-Force side, they all kind of get behind what we're trying to do. And together, we're all pulling that rope, and we're going to see it. My question, I guess, comes back to, I do want to talk about the Sunset Modifieds because you've raced Sunset a lot. Is that the answer? Sunset took a bit of a beating, and we got, to be fair, we should get the Todishes on. But, you're a Sunset racer, so it made sense to ask you your thoughts on the Modifieds. Is this going to divide the Modifieds like it did the Super Lates?
I think what we're watching here is Super Late Models 2.0. And right now, the average car count for Super Late Models is 11 in Ontario per race. I am not a modified driver. I don't know what's going on inside of OSCAR right now that has led to this modified thing even coming to fruition or even being an idea. I don't know if it's been wanted by drivers or not. So this is me from the outside. But as a Sunset driver, I need to figure out how to say this. I don't think it's positive to add another division to your weekly classes when your weekly classes themselves are not happy coming back every week, it seems, and they're not growing. That's for sure. I think you need to work on pleasing the people you already have before trying to bring more people in.
I think that's well said, Garrett. Because it's we know that you love racing, and we know that you love racing at Sunset Speedway. So obviously, you're not sour grapes. You want to be cautious with what you say, and I think you did a good job balancing that.
I don't know what the answer is for Sunset. It's got to worry us all a little bit. I mean, we got to get Brian on here next week to talk about how they can get this one turn around and get them back to the action where they need to be. They still have a lot of good shows coming in, but it seemed to be a lot of disconnect. And not to pick on Sunset, I mean, we could pick 5 or 6 other tracks that have this same problem right across the board. I mean, some of the other powerhouses are in trouble too. I mean, I think Adam's right. What I think we need is almost like a gong show, which you're way too young to remember, or a big flusher. When you get to 7 cars after 3 weeks consistently, you're gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a number where at some point we give up on it and say, okay. And I know, because I lived through it. We had a healthy bomber class at Ush Weekend, 5-6 years ago, and after my first year, we had 21 cars in, and Glenn said, cancel it. I said, what do you mean? It pays out $600 total. They all pay to get in the same much as everybody else, and you just want to flush it? And he said, trust me, it'll be better. It'll save us time, and the real racers will move on, or the non-real racers will move on, and the ones who are really racing, they're going to move to another division and make it stronger. And now our other 4 classes are about 30 average every week. Everything did move on, and it just worked out for us. So I think at some point when you get to the 12, maybe say 8 car counts consistently, that's when you just got to dump it. And it sucks to be a promoter to say, hey guys, sorry, but Adam, just to throw a line out to you before I turn it over to you, what's had more lines given to it than the frickin' late models at Humberstone Speedway? They've been down to 6 forever, and they keep getting a chance. I would have flushed them 10 years ago, and they're all my buddies. But sorry, guys, if you can't get a crew together to want to race, find somewhere else or find another class.
Yeah.
To your point, Clint, in the bomber division, one of the bomber drivers just won our crate sprint car championship this year.
Yeah, good point.
Lucas Smith was a bomber racer. He didn't quit racing. He found somewhere else to do it. Garrett, are you on your phone tonight?
Yeah, I am.
So when we're done with
something,
I did send you something. Clint and Spencer. It was my idea. Clint and Spencer says we're not allowed to show it, but I thought there is a striking. Is that offensive to Garrett, or is that? I think there's a striking resemblance.
I think more people would get a laugh out of it than people would be upset about it.
There you go. To me, I celebrate. Big Earn McCracken is something that we should celebrate. And Garrett, your hair is so perfect when you get in the race car, but when you get out and celebrate a win, it's a thing of beauty. So is that if we got free reign to run
share it? You know what? If people are laughing at you, they're still watching, right, Clint?
That's right.
I think it's a hell of a look. Clinton and Spencer both said that's mean. I'd be pissed if you did that. I said, listen. I said I think this is a fair comparison. That's because
Spencer and I have perfect hair.
Yeah.
Do you? Maybe. Your hair is like a helmet.
I don't.
Clint's pretty smooth. He's got the slick back hair.
Clint's hair is SFI rated.
Yeah.
That thing's got a harder shell than your Simpson helmet.
I don't need a helmet. I got one on. Garrett, anything else we need to talk about before we let you go? Are we gonna? You better show it then.
I want to add one piece. There you go.
Big Earn McCracken from the movie Kingpin, a classic if you have not seen it.
I just watched the whole thing the other day, which is so funny.
Awesome.
Garrett, anything else we need to know about you before we send you off?
All right. Before we go, I do want to add one last thing towards your question of, okay, then what's the answer, for these speedways? I think one thing that you can look at from the speedways that are succeeding to the speedways that are not is that they continue to bring new things to their venues to entertain both fans as well as the teams themselves, as well as I'd suggest that Delaware Speedway right now is the best track in Ontario for customer service on the racing side, not the fans, the racers side. Talking about the people that come in the back gate and keep you open no matter what. The people that do not care if there's people in the stands, they will be there. Those guys have great customer service. And I think that's the number one priority if you want to bring racers back to your racetrack. The money doesn't matter. It's the customer service.
It's right. It's only a part of it. And I'll tell you one thing I noticed this year, and it speaks to the team that Luke has put together there. Russ Erling has been at Delaware for a number of years, and he's been really difficult to deal with for a long time. This year, he seemed relaxed. Like he finally has a supporting cast that does the things that need to be done. He was pleasant and relaxed. He looked happy this year. Which is phenomenal. Like that's once you get the right pieces in the right places, things start to flow smoothly. And Garrett, I think that's a great example. It is a well-run place.
Yeah, I mean, I want what's best, and what's going on right now. I'm gonna name drop. What's going on in Sunset, and even I don't know so much about Flamborough, but I've heard things about Flamborough. Things need to tighten up on the pit side of the gates. They need to tighten up, and more thank yous need to be said.
You've earned your opinion.
All right.
You know, you've got every right. So thanks for hanging out with us, Garrett. And people, you're going to see a lot of Garrett over this offseason. Say your last name for us.
All right. This is Garrett Teamersma signing off on G-Force TV.
Spencer, clip that, please. No, we all say it differently. We've all had the conversation, and then we go back to saying it. And Clint, it's not you, it's not me, it's you, me, Greg, Jamie, everyone who has ever said the name. Nobody.
You're the only one who gives a shit about it, though. Garrett has never said anything how he said his last name. Do you think, man, if I had a dime for every time someone screwed up Krutchka, it would be, I'd be a billionaire. I wouldn't need to hang out with you on Tuesdays anymore.
I've been making horrible mistakes. I am living in brain fog. It's concerning. You know how concerning it is? I went to the YMCA last night, had my first workout in years because I need to get in better physical shape to support my freaking onion because it's going rotten.
See, I thought you were going to say you went to the walk-in clinic to get your air checked last night, but that didn't happen.
Nope.
So, couple things on the rundown we didn't get to. Action Sprint Tour update. We'll talk about that next week. We just threw that in there as a bit of filler. Just want to bring everybody up to speed on what's going on with the Action Sprint Tour, talking about an East-West International Point Fund and all kinds of good stuff as that continues to build and grow. And that will kind of help keep the Western guys on the Western side and the Eastern guys and build strong and come together. It's going to be awesome. So we'll talk a bit about that. We do have one more video to end. We had our APC banquet, and, it was a great time had by all. There was about 280 people there. Adam, a great room, great setup, great awards. I think it went by really fast from what we're told. So that was great. But Luke Ramsey had a great speech. And one thing he said at the end was, thank you for the friendship. And I think that's one thing we kind of is lost on us a lot is, the camaraderie and the friendship. And, the same guys who are pissed off us this week are laughing with us the next week. And it's a great big family. And I think that we need to remember that a lot more. So that's one thing I took from Luke's speech, and I thought it was great. And any other points I'm missing from there? We do have our Burger Barn video of the week coming up to end off with, and that'll be Abby's drone shots, some highlights that he got this summer that we asked to send over. So we'll make that our Burger Barn video of the week. Anything you want to say about Luke's speech, APC banquet, Adam, before we close it off with Abby's drone video?
I think we should clip some of Luke's speech and show it because I'll tell you, Luke Ramsey always speaks from the heart, but he doesn't always deliver it as well as he did, in my opinion, Saturday night. Like he really delivered some solid lines at the right time. They hit home for you and for me, Clinton. So I think people might enjoy seeing it because it really did bring the perspective that a lot of us need when we forget where we're at.
I just want to say that the G-Force team was not the audio video team that day. We did supply the videos and the MCs, but they had the cameras and the screens, and I don't think anyone pressed record, Adam. I honestly don't think anybody recorded it. So we're trying to find out if they did.
No.
It was not our team, though. We were just called in as a subcontractor. So I figured
Yep.
they would have recorded it. We'll try and find out. Thanks again for the chat, Adam. You know, a lot of Tuesdays I'm bummed out and I don't feel like coming on, but by the end of the hour, it's good racing therapy. We appreciate everybody sticking by. And of course, today, leaving the Teal's visitation to come on the air, it wasn't the greatest of moods, but I feel better. I feel a bit rejuvenated now that we had a talk. I had some great guests on. Thanks to Paul, DJ, and Garrett for coming on to see us. It's Teamersma, like T-E-E.
And that, right. And Clint, that wasn't a shot at you.
Oh, bullshit, it wasn't. Because in that clip, I said it wrong, and I thought Adam's going to be up my ass for that.
Listen, you don't say it very...
We've been married long enough. It's fine.
Listen, I work with someone in the booth who says it a lot. And he won't say it right. However the dude says it, that's how it should be said. Which actually bugs me that everyone knows Mr. Smallblock is Pete Bicknell. Pete calls himself Pete Bicknell. Boggles my mind. Go.
So we shall be. Hey, we had that same with Tyler LaFantasy this year.
Yeah.
You know, we called him something different for 15 years. Finally, he corrected us.
Right, and it's not a matter of like it's not a matter of me looking down towards anyone. I feel bad if we have slighted someone in not taking the effort to get there. If I know I'm wrong, I want to get it right. If I know you're wrong, biggest slight. I want you to get it right.
We're young announcers. Kelly Hallett's leading the race. We're talking about how great this girl's kicking her ass. Oh, look at Kelly Hallett go. And Kelly Hallett gets out, and he's a 6'6", 300-pound beast of a guy who could body slam me like King Kong. I'm like, oh, sorry, Kelly. You're a man. As I look up at him. Fun stuff. Let's look at our Burger Barn video of the week. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Adam. Watch the channel. We got some great programming coming down with Garrett. And Lane's Art are going to do some stuff for us. Always exciting. We're going to string together the banquet video from the APC. Got some new content coming. Thanks to all our supporters. Thanks to everybody who stops by and says hello. Anything you want to say, Adam, before we end it?
No, we'll see y'all next week.
All right. Here is your Burger Barn video of the week. It's our drone highlights from the APC series.